guys, the ordinance also includes the position of city manager or his designee, so you don't have to appoint me, I'm appointed by ordinance, but in terms of the constitution of that, then it would be you three for that.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Moving to the consent agenda, these items are considered to be routine and will be enacted in a motion without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. The consent agenda includes items F3, G1, I1, I2, and I3. Would anyone like to separate these for any reason? If not, can we get a motion on consent?
Move to approve consent agenda.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Sherman.
Linda, do you want proposed resolution 6572, please?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the acceptance of the conveyance document from the Munson Realty Company for the conveyance and acquisition of 0.5720 acres of land and 0.8070 acres of land totaling 1.379 acres of land, more or less, in the Elizabeth Jones Survey, abstract number 625, being more particularly described in the Exhibit A attached hereto and made a part hereof for all purposes. Property being located in the City of Sherman, County of Grayson, State of Texas. Finding the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda.
This resolution would allow the city to purchase 2 parcels of land. There we go. No, back. There we go. Would require the city, or allow the city to purchase 2 parcels of land that are actually required by TxDOT to do the intersection improvement at what is now West Travis Street and 1417, obviously for the new high school. We're asking to purchase approximately 1.4 total acres for $200,000. TxDOT, the bid for this intersection improvement closes next month. It's expected to start construction early spring and be done by the time school starts next August. There will be an intersection and acceleration, deceleration turn lanes for that intersection.
Did you say the total amount of project already?
The 1.5
1.5 or something like that?
Yeah, I think originally it was estimated at 1.8 and now it's 1.5. We'll see if the bids come back.
So haven't we already put up our share of that? Did we get a little kickback for this last? Didn't we put up our share?
We should get a kickback because we're paying for 100% of the project.
Yeah, our shares are up. Rebate, yeah, sorry. Rebate. That's like, what is it? Rebate.
All right, any discussion, any other questions, council?
Make a motion to approve 6572.
Say.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Linda, if you read 6573 first, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing execution of a development agreement with Bluestone Partners LLC for the construction of public facilities in Heritage Crossing Phase 1, a 31.333 acre development west of Heritage Parkway, FM 1417, and north of Washington Street in the City of Sherman. Finding the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda.
This resolution authorizes the development agreement with Bluestone Construction for Heritage Crossing Phase 1. It's a 31 acre subdivision. According to our master thoroughfare plan, this subdivision does have a minor thoroughfare plan to go through it. McGee Street, which is what we're calling the street for now, will eventually tie into West Washington Street and into 1417. McGee Street project is estimated to cost about $1.5 million. And typically the construction of this project will be paid for in the city since it is a thoroughfare. In order to coordinate the 2 projects, Bluestone has offered to help build McGee Street at the same time as they're building their subdivision. So approval of this agreement would allow Bluestone to do that, and we would reimburse them for the cost of McGee Street, specifically up to $1.5 million, or about 28% of the total project cost. Both projects will be tested and inspected along the way and approved for city acceptance.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion on this item?
Move to approve resolution 6573.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, Linda, you'll read 6575, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman awarding a bid to and authorizing execution of a contract with Lynn Vessels Construction LLC based on an invitation to bid for construction of the Lambert Road Drainage Improvements Project. Finding the meeting at which this resolution is passed was noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
All right, this project was designed to increase the capacity of Lambert Road, and actually raise the roadway out of the floodway, for two different locations, along there between 75 and, North Travis. We did receive 4 bids, and the low bid was Lynn Vessels Construction at $2.2 million. The original estimate of this project was $1.7 million. So in order to keep on budget, we went back with the engineers and looked at reducing the scope of this project. The next council item, H1, will actually be a change order to reduce the scope down by about $750,000. To keep from having to rebid this project, we're asking to award the contract as is and then immediately approve the change order. The reduction of scope actually removes the east crossing closer to 75 from the project, at least this phase 1 of the project. That area does flood, but it's still passable for emergency vehicles during a 100-year event, and it's not in the floodway, which is the moving current of water during a flood. And so that would still allow us to increase the capacity of the main Post Oak Creek crossing and raise the road there about 4 feet and still be within budget.
Clint, what's the estimated time of completion, and then, I guess, follow-up is, how much of that is gonna be completely shut down?
So essentially, right before the orthodontist office there on the west, just west of Cornerstone, is where the project limits will start, and it will go all the way to North Travis Street. We have 3 utilities, one of which has already been moved, that we're waiting to get moved for the safety of the construction. We're expected to start in January or February, and with the reduction in scope, we also reduced the contract down to 180 days.
So will the orthodontist office have to be closed?
No.
But will make?
No, they have to have, they have to remain to have access, and this actually improves their access, because before we were gonna have to figure out how to do both projects and also keep them open. And so this actually makes it a little easier, from a construction traffic control, standard.
So Clint, can you guarantee me that this is gonna be done before the 75 project catches up to it?
That's what I wanted to know.
14,
Yes,
17,
Yes,
75.
because the 75 project doesn't go this far north.
Okay. Fair enough.
It'll still be a
Not yet,
phase.
not yet.
Clint, can you, just one more time, because I think I missed it, why is the project being reduced in scope?
So we had this project, this drainage project is funded through our stormwater utility fee, which was approved back in 2017 to be about $1 per residential unit. And we use that money to issue some debt, and that debt we've been using to purchase homes in the floodplain. We've been doing some flood impact analysis, and this was one of the big projects we wanted to try to get done with the rest of that money. Knowing that it was a big project, we held off on some other things, and as expected, it came back higher. And so essentially, unless we pull money from somewhere else, the money's just not there for this time around.
So will we have to go back and do it later? Or is this gonna fix?
This will fix the main crossing. There's still gonna be an issue there at that first crossing. To give you an idea, the main crossing is a 10-foot diameter box culvert. We're replacing it with 4 12-by-12 boxes. So we're adding 4 times as much as already there. So there's a substantial amount of flow that's going under that highway or under that road that is not accounted for right now.
One of the other things we talked about at the time, when we were contemplating this project was, just harkening back to the 2007 flood when our emergency here. And so our goal was to make this project, a street that could be passable in a 100-year event. And with this project, it will be, as we just described it. The other thing I would say, just from a administrative standpoint, if you wanted to take this item and change order number 1 together, that would be good, because technically speaking, you could approve this item, not approve change order number 1, and then we're stuck with the $2.3 million, $2.2 million project. So if you wanted to take these two together, that might be a clean way to do it as well.
So I could say, make a motion to approve resolution 6575 and approve change order 1?
Yes.
Someone could second it?
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, this is H2, Fallon Drive Water and Sewer Extension Phase 1 project. This is construction, $84,812.42 increase. Clint.
Got a lot of fun ones tonight. So Fallon Drive, was actually, let me get to my notes here. The extension of Fallon Drive was driven by MPS, who is developing, or actually constructing a 175,000 square foot warehouse that will have about 105 employees. As part of that extension, we are getting rid of the lift station and extending water all the way down to Dripping Springs, along with right-of-way dedication. When we awarded this contract, Sedco agreed to pay up to $750,000 to help with the project. During the design, and because of some delay in getting right-of-way, the developer wanted to be able to guarantee himself access to the first driveway on this development. And so we bid the project without the first 100 feet of Fallon Drive being done by Vessels Construction. The intent was that the developer would build that first phase and we would reimburse them for that as it went in. When we were going through the process, kind of like we just did with Bluestone, the estimate for them to build that was about $140,000. Based on Vessels' bid, he could do it for $84,000. So we nixed the ability for the developer to do it because it just didn't make sense money-wise. And we're moving forward with Vessels to do that work. He's assured us that he can get this done in time for the development to be open, and everything should be good.
As long as he, puts his attention to Lambert first.
And we're not spending $85,000, we're saving $55,000.
All right, council, any other questions on this item?
Move to approve this change order number 1.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, looks like all our media is left, so we'll go to board and commission appointments. Planning and zoning commission alternate members. Right.
Yes, so this is an item that actually came up this past week to our attention, and we just thought it would be good policy going forward. So the P&Z meeting that is scheduled for tomorrow does not currently have a quorum in terms of folks that we expect to be there, or the ones that we know specifically are not going to be there. This particular agenda is very heavy, and so we thought it was the prudent thing to do to actually have this meeting in whatever way that we could. So the way that we came up with then is to adopt this idea of alternate members that could be called on an ad hoc basis to fill in, to ensure that we have a quorum when needed. And the 4 that we're recommending would just be used as needed to fill in. And the 4 could be the 4 positions that are being created, and the members that you're would be voting on tonight can be changed at council will. So if any of the members that have currently expressed a desire, these alternate members decide not to do it in the future, ensure was that each of these prospective alternate members have been prior P and Z members, so that they have experience in the P and Z realm. There's no learning curve for them to move up. And each of them have varying tenures on the P and Z board. So we would recommend, staff would recommend to council that you consider appointing Darren Tankersley, Brad Morgan, Jason Bethel, and Sean Vanderveer all as alternate members to be used as fill-ins on an as-needed basis. And then we asked Brandon to look at it as well, just to make sure we're clear. And Brandon says,
alternate planning zone members is actually very common practice. The general law cities are authorized to do that through the local government code. Our charter is silent on the about the use of alternates. So I did consult with some other council, and they've assured me that it's perfectly legal for us to appoint the alternates in Cincinnati.
I have a question. If, say we're down 3 members, but we only need 1 member to show up to have a quorum, do we have 1 alternate, or do 3 alternates to come instead? I'd like to have just enough alternates to reach a quorum, for maybe not so obvious reasons, but I would prefer that way. I'm just wondering if you're envisioning.
yeah, I mean, my vision is that we would have enough just to make quorum. Scott, do you?
Maybe 1 extra,
One, would you say 1 extra spot?
just in case somebody got sick and didn't show up.
Yeah, I mean, invite them, obviously, you know, have another one in the hopper. I just don't, I wanna avoid a situation where maybe there's something that a lot of P and Z members don't like and they don't wanna vote on, but they can all not show up, and we can let all the alternates show up, and basically have an alternate P and Z board. I'm okay with it, enough alternates to make us have a quorum on P and Z, but, you know, if we don't make a rule and stick to it, there could be a tendency, to have a P and Z board and an ad hoc alternate P and Z board when there's unpleasant things on the docket. Not to say that anyone would do that, everyone on our P and Z board is upstanding citizens, but you never know what can happen down the road.
Isn't there something in place if they miss so many meetings, they're voted on whether they're
3 meetings, it's 3 meetings and
Yeah.
to remove them?
I'm okay with having an alternate to get us to a quorum and we can have a meeting and get it done. But if there's 4 members not there and we got 4 alternates, so just enough alternates to get us to a quorum, right? So if we have plus one, okay.
Plus, from time to time, especially in a large meeting, we might have 15, 20, 30 items. Somebody's gotta abstain somewhere.
Yeah.
And so you've got the alternate number 2 continue.
Okay.
That was the thought process. I would ask you to make them alternate number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll choose them that way, or we could rotate them.
I'm assuming these alternates know they kinda need to stay up with the issues on what's going on, so that they're not just stepping in blind off the street.
Yeah, as soon as we became aware of members that were gonna be absent, that required, to an extent that we wouldn't have a quorum, that required us to use these fill-ins, we would provide them with the packets of information to make sure that they're aware.
Is it,
Maybe we should change some of the wording. When they take their oath, they also promise to be an alternate when they're done.
Yeah. 3 years of alternate.
we have had a meeting, been several years ago, when we had the room packed and the hallway full, and we didn't have a quorum. So I don't wanna be in that boat again.
Yeah. Well, with that understanding, I would move to accept, these 4 people listed here. Darren Tankersley, Brad Morgan, Sean Vanderveer, and Jason Bethel as alternate members to P and Z.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. All right, we were down to Councilman Sandra.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Steve has got over there so quiet tonight, and this is his last meeting with us. And it's just breaking my heart and he's retired. I hope you enjoy it. And, I am very proud that we have Terrence here tonight with his certification, city manager, having graduated this past week, so. making a great difference from what I see, and I appreciate you for doing that. And, I'm glad that Sherman High School came and played music for us before we got here, and I hope that y'all all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna want to wish Steve a happy retirement from someone who has experienced it. It is worth it. It is worth it. But then you find other things that'll fill it up. You know, in my case, I'm very fortunate that I get to help serve the city in this way. And also congratulations to Terrence, we're very proud of you and all. And I do also want to wish all of our citizens a very Merry Christmas. Please be safe. I hope that everybody has a wonderful family time together of sharing and love and companionship. And we will see you all back here in January.
Yeah, Steve, are you really sure about this? Obviously, we're gonna miss you, and, we'll see you around Sherman, I know we will, so I'm hoping to see you sitting out here in the audience a few times. That's all I've got.
Well, congratulations, Steve. I've been knowing you a long time. Met you when you first moved here and started up. And you were a great asset to the city. Almost teenagers when we met.
Exactly.
Exactly. I haven't quite reached that pinnacle yet until I retire. And Terrence, of course, your graduation and completion, that's really great. I also want to thank the church group that worked, that subgroup that I was on, for getting this subgroup together so that it doesn't overwhelm the city, the council with information that we need. And they work all the questions out before it gets to us. That took some time to do that. That was a great job. Engineering, good job, man. Saving money, we need that. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everybody makes it home safe. And we'll see y'all next January. Or in January. And I'm getting sick.
I'm skipping over.
I agree with all that except for the getting sick part. We have, just a fantastic city staff. Steve, we're gonna miss you a lot. It's been a long time since, we didn't have you working for the city of Sherman in some way. So, we're gonna try just our best to find a way to appoint you to something. And Terrence, congratulations. I mean, continuing to improve your education, learn how to serve the city better. It's a great thing, and we appreciate you doing it. Happy holidays, everybody, and that's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. You want to say something before the announcements?
Yeah, I just, I'm glad you guys took time to recognize Steve and Terrence. I mean, I couldn't be, you spoke to their accomplishments and, you know, and why we should be proud, and that is all 100% true. But I'm just thankful and blessed to be working with men and women who are of such high caliber, high character. They do what they say they're gonna do. You can trust them in all aspects of dealing with them. You know, we're gonna have a little get together for Steve's, to his, you know, chagrin a little bit. Steve he's not about calling attention to himself or even wanting recognition, which is just a mark of his humility. But we will be having a little get together to recognize his service. That'll come a little bit later, and we'll give you announcements. But I just wanted to say publicly and to these guys, just what an honor and privilege it's been for them to work with the rest of the city staff. And Steve particularly, as he's retiring, has been here you know, nearly 30 years. With his time over here in City Hall, he's been a real support for me, so I'm thankful. And that's all.
Thank you, Robbie. Nice and we will host Flags and Whiskers at Buffalo Wild Wings and Sherman Town Center. The fundraiser will help support donations to the animal shelter, so come out and help support a great cause at 11 a.m. Sunday the 30th. Our first Coffee with Mayor, the new decade, will be held on January 3rd at Ameris State Bank. Really, I expect you to bake some of your famous muffins for the group. Come join us at 8 a.m. for a great morning of networking and get a lunch while you're there. Finally, tonight on Saturday, January 25th, Habitat for Humanity will host their annual Habitators fundraiser in support of the great work they do around Grayson County. We've really worked hard to partner more with this organization. And it'd be fantastic to see some great community support. Tickets are available online. And on this last city council meeting, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So at this time, the city council will now hold a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, section 551.071, to consult with the city attorney concerning pending or contemplated litigation on a matter which the city attorney's duty under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas conduct conflicts of this chapter. And it's section 551.074 to consider appointments to the GTA Board of Directors, and it's section 551.075